We are saving the best for the end because the Certina DS2 family got bigger once with the reissued DS2 Chronograph Automatic. This is not just another chronograph, but the most famous chronograph that Certina ever made. The Chronolympic, the watch that climbed Mount Everest. In 1970, Certina equipped a Japanese expedition team on their way to Mount Everest with DS2 Chronolympic watches. After a couple of months, when the team reached 7,986 meters in altitude, Yuichiro Miura, one of the members, strapped the skis to its feet and dashed down the slopes, reaching speeds up to 160 kilometers per hour, slowed down by the use of a brake parachute. Yuichiro Miura, who became world-renowned for this ski run, was stopped after 2 minutes and 20 seconds, covering around 2,000 meters from his run. He lost the control on an icy patch and he was seriously injured, sliding down the slope for several hundred meters. And this exceptional ski run was documented in the movie The Man Who Skied Down Everest, which won the Oscar in the Best Documentary Film in 1976. And according to some reports, the Certinas endured this expedition very well and met all the demands despite the adverse conditions. And if you want to know more about the Chronolympic and other historic Certina facts, I suggest you to check out vintagecertinas.ch. The DS2 is the super robust line offered by the Turtle brand. Starting from the 50s, the DS2 concept was proven to be super reliable over the years. And recently, Certina took them one by one, reviving 2 years ago the DS2, this year the DS2 turning bezel, and later on this year the DS2 chronograph, mirroring the legendary Chronolympic robust chronograph. The standard of these watches, besides the impeccable quality, is the higher waterproofness of 200 meters war resistance and the reliability of the double security system. I have to admit, initially I was overwhelmed by the presence of this reissued chronograph, because I thought the initial Chronolympic was made in 39mm, and I thought this size is a bit offset compared to the original one. But the reality is, I misunderstood the Chronolympic as a concept. The original model was made in 42.5mm with 16.5mm in height, and it was purposed to be a super robust chronograph to be worn in any adventure. And the proof was the successful trip to Everest, an achievement for the brand but also the reliability of the watch to withstand severe climates. This Chronolympic is the perfect representation of the 70s avant-garde designs. In that period, once with the innovative release of the first automatic chronograph module, a lot of colored, playful chronographs appeared. The Otavia, Monaco, El Primero, the Chronolympic and other super interesting chronographs. As designed, the DS2 cushion case is made in a way to lay down on the surface of the wrist. The arched tonneau shape closes the volume descending towards the wrist. And because this is a watch with presence, somehow the 16mm height does not unbalance the watch ratio with the case width and the top bottom. As detailed specifications, the new DS2 chronograph comes in 2 versions. The stainless steel version with the iconic bicompax blue dial with silver subdials and the red-yellow accents. This model comes on a blue padded fabric strap with yellow stitchings, which feels like sailcloth, but more friendlier when it's touched. And then there is the yellow-gold PVD version, which feels to commemorate the importance of the revival of the Chronolympic. This comes on an interesting combo, something that we see only on the premium lines of Omega and Rolex. The yellow-gold case with a green dial combo, which looks extremely good. This version comes with a padded brown crocodile-like strap with a gold PVD butterfly clasp signed by the brand. But compared, I feel like the blue version of the strap is much more comfortable than the brown version. As price, the normal blue dial costs 1,980 Swiss francs, where the gold PVD costs 1,995 Swiss francs. Now, the case measures 43.5mm in diameter due to the cushion type of the case with a lug tip to lug tip of 48.5mm. Has 16mm in height, the case having 14mm and 2mm occupied by the box sapphire. Between the lugs we have 20mm and weighs 150 grams on a strap. But here I'm super curious to know if the bracelet of the turning bezel works with the chronograph or the normal 40mm DS2. When we flip the watch, we have an open case back previewing the caliber A05231, an updated movement based on the ETA 7753, featuring a bicompax complication but also a date at 6 o'clock. This movement has only two positions of adjustment, the date setting being made from the 10 o'clock button position, which can change the date independently. The movement having a frequency of 28800 VPH, a Nivacron hairspring and 60 hours power reserve. In details, the main attraction point of the watch must be the dial and the colored accents proposed. This color combo with yellow, red and dark blue foreground is one of my favorites. The gold version having the beautiful green dial with gold and brown increment accents on the minute counter. And although this is not noticeable, the dial contains the tachymeter scale printed on the edge. It's super discreet and purposeful. And then on the interior scale we have some orange accents which are continued by the faceted markers. Initially I thought these were colored in burnt tritium, but in reality the lume is present inside the metallic faceted markers. The silver subdial accents are common on both versions, being differentiated through the 10 minutes increments and the 45-minute counter, which are red on the blue dial and brown on the green dial. The hands are a bit different compared to the vintage model, which had sharpened tips and the central loomed area was interrupted towards the tip of the hands, where the actual one borrows the same modern baton hands design concept being consistent with the DS2 line. And everything described being complemented by the playful 70s specific chronograph hand colored in yellow, which in this case looks pretty sporty but fresh in the same time. And I just love how this color palette was developed more than 50 years ago. Overall, I love the design and the color accents on both versions. The specs are solid, 200 meters on a chronograph, that's pretty exotic, but the only thing debatable must be the sizing. And we will see how the watch will be understood from the purpose and the sizing perspective, as the cushion case is pretty noticeable. All in all, the Certina Ds-2 Chronograph aka the Chronolympic is a solid watch, no doubt about it, a vintage inspired reissue with solid specs thanks to the reliable DS concept. Obviously a watch fully entitled to sit on the Brave Beaters Hall of Fame in the position number 45 alongside other chronographs that marked important historical moments like Monaco, El Primero, Moonwatch, but other Certina DS chronographs as well. That is it, another Brave Beater qualified on the channel. Hope you enjoyed this video and I'm really curious to know what do you think about this DS2 Chronograph Automatic. Please let me know in the comments below, and as usual, if you're new around, please consider subscribing for future episodes. Thank you very much, thanks for watching, and until next time, be brave but stay safe.